2 here on WSGW. And we're going to talk about an event coming up in the very near future at the Dow Event Center, hosted in part by Corteva Agriscience. And with us today to talk about it from Corteva, she is there as a functional safety expert, but she also speaks for some of the outside events, community events that Corteva does. And one of them is the food distribution program. And we say good morning to Denise Hannigan. Denise, good morning.
Good morning, Art. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, and I hope you are too. Hope you
I am.
Hope you had a great Christmas and New Year.
Absolutely. Same to you.
Thanks. I want to talk just a little bit about some of these outreach programs that Corteva Agriscience does. This one is a food distribution program. How long have they been doing this? Do you know?
Well, actually, Corteva gets in, and we are very engaged in the community, especially around food security. And we've been fortunate enough to build many very strong partnerships and relationships with organizations throughout the Great Lakes Bay region to collaborate with in these efforts. And one of those is a food distribution like the one we're going to talk about for tomorrow. And one of our partners that we are very active with in the community is the Saginaw Spirit. I work closely with Gunnar Bouvet there with the Saginaw Spirit. He volunteers with us quite routinely. We've got a group of us that get together and volunteer at the various organizations throughout the Great Lakes Bay region. Specifically, we have Eastside Soup Kitchen there in Saginaw. We volunteer with the Food Bank of Eastern Michigan, Midland County Food Assistance Network, and Phoenix Farm, Community Farm in Midland as well. So we have quite a network that we spend a lot of our efforts and times. We've got amazing volunteers that go on a routine basis out and participate in these types of activities.
So let's talk about the food distribution session tomorrow at the Dow. What time and what's required of those that want to pick up food?
Okay, first of all, let me mention that this particular distribution tomorrow does not require pre-registration. Does not require pre-registration. We will, however, when folks arrive, we will need to, we'll provide a slip of paper that will need to get their name, and their zip code that is needed as part of the USDA requirements. So we just need that, in the very unlikely event that any of the food products that are being distributed are recalled. So I needed to put that out there. It's not a registration. It's basically we just need to get name and zip code of folks that do participate. We will open the parking lot at Johnson Street there, right across from the Dow Event Center. That will open up at 9 a.m. Folks can go there and stage starting at 9, and then at 10 a.m. is when we're going to start. We'll have a couple of folks out there to help direct traffic to get folks across the street and start through the drive-through process there in the front of the event center, which is where we'll actually have our volunteers loading the vehicles there for folks that are participating. So 9 a.m. parking, 10 a.m. distribution.
So basically first come, first serve.
First come, first serve. We will have our enough food. The truck that we've ordered can vary. We haven't seen the bill of lading just yet. I'll get that today, but typically those trucks are between 16,000 and 19,000 pounds of food, enough to feed 300 families. So they will get each family or each participant that comes through the drive-through will get, a variety, quite a large assortment variety of breads, canned goods, snacks, variety of meats, milk, potatoes, carrots, fresh produce. Like I said, I haven't seen the bill of lading yet, so we'll know those. When we get that, we'll see what all we've got on the truck. But it's quite an operation to see. Once that truck arrives around 8:30, we'll start packaging all of that into grocery bags for folks so that we can load that into the vehicles.
Where does most of this food come from? Is it the Food Bank of Eastern Michigan, or where do you get most of it?
That's correct. Yep, Food Bank of Eastern Michigan will provide the truck there from their facility in Flint, and that's where this particular food will come from tomorrow.
And the volunteers, most of them come from Corteva?
The majority of our volunteers tomorrow are Corteva colleagues. We have Saginaw Spirit volunteers, plus we'll have 4 players tomorrow. They're going to join us for a couple of hours. They're going to help us load the vehicles. So we're looking forward to seeing them tomorrow before they head off to practice. And so we'll have volunteers from Corteva, Spirit. We'll have Midland County Food Assistance Network volunteers, Food Bank of Eastern Michigan volunteers. I've got a couple of folks coming from Phoenix Community Farm. Of course, the Dow Center has 5 or 6 volunteers tomorrow as well. And so we got quite a variety as usual. We always have, like I said, wonderful volunteers that join us every single time we go out into the community.
Denise, I have to ask, though, because there's no pre-registration required. These events really are meant for those who have food insecurity.
Absolutely.
But you don't have any way of guaranteeing that. You're really relying on the honesty of the person, aren't you?
Absolutely. We're hoping that folks take that into consideration, before coming to this event. This is for truly an emergency feeding program. It's intended to provide a supplemental food source, I'll say, for folks. Being food insecure can happen to anyone at any time. And folks are in various, stages or levels of need, and we want to make sure that this distribution is hopefully beneficial to those in most need tomorrow.
Can you hang on for a few minutes?
I sure can.
I got to take a break, and we'll come back to another segment with Denise Hennigan from Corteva. Food distribution tomorrow at the Dow. We'll remind you all the details again.
Jeff Gronsky here, back.
Hi, we're back with you talking to Denise Harrigan, and she is with Corteva, and also talking about some Corteva outreach programs, including food distribution, which happens tomorrow at the parking lot across from the Dow Event Center in Saginaw. But Denise, if you don't mind, just for a minute here before we get back to the food, you've had a rather long, sustained career at Dow and now Corteva, 40 years or so. What was it like with the split? Did you have a choice as to which side you were going to go to?
Yes, I think for the most part, yes, I did. It was very where I was at that particular time. The role I was in was already in the Dow AgriScience portion or sector of Dow, and so it was just a natural transition to the new ag company, which is Corteva.
No problems. Worked out pretty well.
Worked out amazing. I've had a wonderful career, with both companies, and very fortunate to be able to say so.
The reason I brought it up, folks, is that Denise, in about 7 weeks, is going to have a new life to deal with. It's called retirement. Are you ready for it?
I am. Most certainly I am. I'm excited. It is bittersweet. I've always, like I said, I've been blessed with my career, and very positive on all points. And but it's time for the next chapter, and I look forward to doing that and seeing what that's going to bring. But very optimistic and excited to get that started.
And you were involved in inclusion in both these companies. How are they doing in general?
I think overall it's holding its own, I'll say. And we've got a strong base, as far as that goes, with inclusion. Fortunately, with both companies and most corporations, and for that matter, that have programs in place supporting that. I think the key is to continue stay the course and continue doing the right thing, and you'll have your base of folks that are passionate about that, and will continue to do so, and that's about all you can ask for, right? And so
you worked, even though it's probably for a very short time, but you worked with one of my favorite people, Jim Fitterling.
Oh yeah.
He's just an outstanding person.
Yep, he certainly is. I've known Jim for many years, and yes, most definitely just an all-around wonderful person. So very, very good memories with Jim, and thankful that our paths crossed, for sure.
Well, thanks for being willing to chat about it. So we'll go back to why you're here and finish up with that. But
thanks for asking, and I appreciate the well wishes on the retirement, Art.
I enjoy it. I want to talk just a little bit about the food that's going to be distributed tomorrow. You don't know what it is till you see the bill of lading, but typically, what types of food are included? What can someone expect in their box?
Yeah, typically you're going to see, obviously we're going to have some canned goods, which can range from, soups, stews, vegetables, and fruits. That's typically what you're going to see there. And then we'll have some of the boxed type meals that you'll see, your hamburger, tuna helpers type. That's a potential. Rice meal mixes, snacks, crackers, granola, potatoes, carrots, fresh produce. We don't know, like I said, we could have carrots, potatoes, we could have onions. It's just a variety.
I should point out that's kind of unusual at food distributions to have fresh produce, isn't it?
Well, it depends. It's like it's kind of hit or miss. It just depends on, obviously, some items are seasonal, we welcome anything at all that we can get, because a lot of times those aren't easy to come by, for folks at the stores or what have you. So they're staples, I guess I'll say, when you're talking about being able to make meals, to have potatoes, carrots, and
right.
various produce. So we're fortunate to have some of those on the truck. Again, we'll have, typically we'll have some meats as well. It could be bacon, ham. It just depends, but it's always quite a variety. So I would expect, when they leave, it's a hefty bags of excellent, nutritious food to be able to take home.
And again, let's tell everybody the times. What time do you open the lot and all that?
Yep, we're going to open the parking lot across the street from the Dow Event Center on Johnson Street. That will open at 9 a.m. We're asking folks to go and park there. We'll have someone come around as you enter that parking lot to hand out slips. Again, not registration, but just to sign up with your name, your address with your zip code, and that is a requirement of the USDA that we have that information. That information is confidential, will be kept by the Food Bank of Eastern Michigan per USDA guidelines. So we'll collect those around 10 a.m. We will start directing folks over across the street to the Dow Event Center, driving across, then drive through the circular, I don't want to say circular, but the parking lot over there at right in front of the Dow Center is where we'll load. And folks will exit right back onto Johnson Street, and it'll be a one-way drive-through, exit, and on your way.
So I assume it's a bad word, but the parking lot across the street is just a staging area. And will there be traffic?
Correct.
Will there be traffic control for Johnson? Will it be effectively closed?
No, we have not asked for any street closures at all. We're going to, hope for the best there. Getting folks, and we'll do our best to, help to make that as hopefully effortless as possible to get folks across the street. But no street closures.
All right. Again, tomorrow, 9 o'clock, parking lot opens, 10 o'clock food distribution, and you estimate about enough food for 300.
Yes.
So a couple hours, it'll be done.
It'll be done. We're typically, for about 300, we're typically about an hour and a half, we should have everybody through the line. Yep.
Well, Denise, thanks for spending some time with us and talking about it this morning, and God bless you. Have a great retirement, my dear.
Appreciate you, Art. Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to visit today.
Same here. Take care.
You take care.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Denise Hannigan from Corteva and the food distribution tomorrow. From this point forward, open phones 989-752-6111 is the way to get in touch with us.
Are you looking for an
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW, Art Lewis Show, and we have open phones for the remainder of the hour. And the number is 989-752-6111. It didn't take long for a poll to be taken on the actions of the president in Venezuela against Maduro. A poll was taken by Reuters Ipsos poll on January 5th, yesterday. And what they found in general was that 1 in 3 Americans approved of the U.S. military strike. That's 34%. And it's split, as you can imagine, by party, as everything does. Republicans backed the military operation 65%, Democrats 11%. But what is interesting about this poll, at the same time, they did an approval rating for the president. And his approval rating has not been great. It's been in the 30 percentile range. Only 1 in 3 Americans support what he did in Venezuela, but his approval rating went up. His approval rating is now at 42%. That's the highest it's been since mid-fall. And interesting that those numbers, they don't seem to coincide, if you will. So I just thought I'd mention the fact that it didn't take long for a poll to come out. Let's talk to Jean in Bay City. Jean, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Margaret Greene has left politics. And she had been talking a lot, of course, and I think the main reason that she left was most people, they can handle getting death threats, but her son was getting terrible death threats, and I believe that's the reason why she left.
Well, I think we need to go back to see why he was getting those death threats.
I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
We need to go back and see why he was getting those death threats. Now, first of all, no death threat is acceptable. It should never happen. But her issue, she has been heavily into conspiracy theories and things like that for a long time. She has created her almost own universe in some ways. And there were a lot of people who didn't like it. And unfortunately, some of those who are, I would say, mentally unstable will take it upon themselves to make death threats to people they don't like. That's too bad, because it shouldn't happen.
Well, as far as I know, they never got death threats until she was standing up for the women that had been raped at 14 years old and want justice from these men. The men that are so powerful and wealthy and famous, these women just don't seem to have a chance to get any compensation or anything done about what happened to them. And when Margaret Greene was standing with those women and Trump started talking bad about her, that's when all the death threats started. And, we're supposed to have free speech in America, and good people are not going to stay in politics if they end up having their husband or wife or their children threatened with death threats. It just isn't worth it, and we're going to lose a lot of the best people because of that.
Well, you know what, Gene? We've been saying that for decades. This is not a new problem. It's been going on a long time. And let me remind you of something else. Yep, we have free speech in this country, but nowhere in the First Amendment does it guarantee that it's without consequence. Now, obviously, consequence should not be death threats. That's totally wrong and immoral and should never happen. But understand that free speech comes with consequence.
Don't you think, what is your opinion? Don't you think months ago all that information should have been released so these women have some peace of mind that what they went through, that people are going to be held accountable for it? Don't you believe that?
People that are guilty, yes. However, you have to be careful how you release this information, because there are a lot of names in those files that had absolutely nothing to do with the sexual side of the allegations against Jeffrey Epstein.
If everything
and therefore, anybody you name is guilty by association, and that's not fair either.
Right, but if they would have released it months ago,
wouldn't have mattered.
They could have went through all those names, and things could have been all studied.
Shoulda, coulda. That's old history. We have to deal with what we have today. And the reality is, if it were released 6 months or a year ago, it would have looked the same. There would have been tons of redactions to protect the identity of people who were not guilty. Because if you release all the names of everybody...
You seem to think all these men are so innocent.
What did I say? I didn't say that. I didn't say that, Gene. Don't put words in my mouth. I said that the people who are innocent should not be included in the release, because guilt by association, in the public's eye, you're guilty, whether you were or not. Those that are guilty should be held accountable.
Do you think that these men didn't know what was going on, even if they didn't participate? They should have.
All right, so everybody who knew Jeffrey Epstein is guilty. Is that what you're saying?
People that were on his island, I would say, knew what was going on, even if they didn't participate.
Yeah, all right, well, fine. So you name everybody that's ever been to the island, right?
I mean, people that were innocent, I can't believe they didn't know what was going on.
Okay, well, then that's your choice to believe or not to believe.
On another subject, Trump is talking about taking over Greenland.
To me, that's nonsense.
What is your opinion on that?
Shouldn't happen. He ought to shut his mouth on some things. Greenland, will tell you this. He's right in the fact that Greenland is an important defense area for the United States. But he's wrong in thinking he can simply take it from another nation. That's nonsense. That's my opinion, and that's personal opinion.
The rare minerals that are there that are really important that the United States could use, and some people are saying it's mainly about those rare minerals that you want.
Some people can have their opinion. I don't know.
Well, thank you for listening. Have a nice afternoon.
You too, Gene. Thanks. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
All right, coming up on 10:45. Still time to get you in. 989-752-6111, the number to call.
For 60 years...
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW, the Art Lewis Show. Still have time to get another call or so in. Yesterday, Nicolas Maduro and his wife pleaded not guilty in federal court on several drug trafficking and gun charges after he was captured, of course, as the story goes, in his home in Venezuela by Delta Force. The other part of this story that the president's been talking about is rebuilding the Venezuela oil industry, which was decimated by Maduro. He seized property, destroyed property. I mean, the oil industry in Venezuela is not what it once was. And they need to rebuild it. The question is who pays for it. And the president has said that it'll probably take about 18 months. The U.S. companies want to go in and rebuild their oil infrastructures, and it will take a lot of money. And what the president said was that the oil companies will spend it, and then they'll get reimbursed, and this is the part where I went, what? They'll get reimbursed by us or through revenue. Okay, strike out the by us and just leave the or through revenue. These oil companies are making billions of dollars, and they're going to rebuild infrastructure, which is going to make them billions more because Venezuela has an enormous oil field. And I don't think the American taxpayers should be rebuilding. I think that the oil companies should be rebuilding and recover their building